Alright, we're live. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in again to the tribe.
And welcome to the tribe. If you're new, I'm your sis, the nurse.
And your bro, nerd.
Where we are here to discuss a dating and relationship. And today we will be doing a reaction to
Kevin Samuels. Marriage is slavery.
So we are a married couple and we wanted to do this reaction. Hopefully we won't get in trouble for doing the reaction. So we wanted to see what are the thought processes out there. Kevin has had a young lady that is on his live where they're discussing marriage. So let's hear the reaction from a married couple and let's see what you guys think about marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Your price too high. I like to get comfy. I've been snuggling up, drinking my glass of wine and water and listening. But is your price too high? Oh, is my price too high? I thought you said is my place too high. Sorry. No, your price too high. I don't think my price is too high. Okay. Well, what do you want? Ultimately, I want a man that's a provider. Okay. Willing to work. Okay. In the beginning, but when it's time to have children. Okay? I want to be able to stay at home and raise the children until they're able. How many kids would you like? Issues with me. Ideally 3 to 4, but right now I would say at the age that I am, maybe 2. Oh, okay. 32. Well, I'll be 32 soon. Okay, so you want to be a traditional housewife then? I wouldn't say ultra traditional, but somewhat, yes. Okay. Yes. But you want the man to be a traditional provider? Yes. Ideally, I would like that. Okay. That sounds like an imbalance. I don't necessarily think so. If you need him to be a traditional provider, but he's not getting a traditional housewife, what is he getting that's better than a traditional housewife? So we are 1 minute and 45 seconds in. And hey, Dee Dee, hey, Dot, we really appreciate you guys for being here. So we are 1 minute and 45 seconds into this reaction. And as the videos that we are going to be doing more reactions on the internet, as you see, we are very much into this very quickly, and the confusion has already started. Yep. So all the contradictions. This doesn't make any sense. You want something traditional, yet you don't want something traditional. You don't. Yeah, exactly. Yes or no? What do you want? Exactly. There's no gray area. It has to be yes or no. Yes. So let's get back into this. Hopefully, it's not a ball of confusion, but so far we've actually started off on even 2 minutes in. Ball of confusion. Because his responsibility is here. What's he going to get that's here or above? What does a traditional housewife entail? What? You're the one that want this stuff. You don't know what it means. You don't even know what you're saying to the person that's interviewing you. You have no idea or inkling of what you're talking about. She's the one that comments in his show, so you're the one that should know what you want. So I'm supposed to tell you what the definition is? What's that about confusion you're saying? It's just you are the one that want this. Oh gosh! All right. Well, maybe you know what? Maybe I don't know. Maybe let's see how much bigger of a hole she digs herself. I don't think she's gonna dig herself. I think we might be jumping the ball. Okay, we'll see. Let's see. Tell me, because you said you're not one. You picked the right one. You know, housewife. I'm just imagining kind of being a slave. So. Excuse me. Say what? Since when is being a housewife a slave? Why even use that comparison, that word? That is a horrible situation that transpired in American history that should have never transpired, but let alone to compare that to marriage? Are you kidding me? Mm-mm. So why do you even want to get married? If that's what you even equate marriage to be, something so horrific. Why do you even bother calling in if you yourself are confused and know what you even want? Well, what?
Okay, this doesn't make any sense. And these are the type of things that when you are dating, take away, you're calling on to Kevin's show. If this is what you're saying to Kevin, I can only imagine what you're saying to the people that have been dating you and you've been seeing have been seeing.
I could just imagine the horror.
So if this is what you're saying to someone that you don't know, I can only, like we said, we can only imagine what you're saying to men that you've been dating for a couple of months or like a year. Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't care. Marriage isn't even that serious. Who cares about it? It's just like slavery. And then you laugh. You know what? That's even more disgusting.
You laugh after using that comparison.
You talk about something so horrific and you're laughing about it. Like, this is funny. You know what? I don't see what the point is at this point.
Let me stop you right here.
Oh, he did.
Where are the people from?
My mom's from Trinidad and my dad's from Jamaica.
Caribbean people, listen.
Please don't take her as an example.
We don't know
She's
this
making
lady,
us look shame.
We don't know this lady.
She's making us look shame.
The Trinidadians, they don't know you. The Jamaicans, they don't know you, ma'am. I cannot believe this woman really said this.
You think where she grew up, she will have more sort of better upbringing to have not to have those thought processes that are problematic.
This is crazy. Well, maybe the wine hasn't kicked in yet. I think
we'll see.
Because clearly, I need to have it myself. Listen to this.
So I see that.
Hold on. Why? We don't need white supremacy racism. But all we got is this: that you think that the women who came before you were slaves.
It's not that necessarily, but just what I'm seeing in the media and just all around me. I see women trying to be this housewife for men, traditional housewife.
First of all, based off of the numbers and the statistics, it's 1 out of 4 Black women that will get married. It's 25%, which is a ridiculously low number at its own. So that's why having these conversations to really be able to hone in, hey, what are the conversations being had and what is it that people think about this? And then if you're saying that those, all the number of married people that you see around you, that's what you're getting the impression from them. This is what it equates to. Why do you even want it?
Secondly, why are you taking tips and pointers from social media when you are a grown-ass woman? You should be doing your own self-research.
Well, her self-research has landed.
Well, obviously, but you should have enough effort or mind, sense enough to do your own research and not go about what you see on social media. You gotta realize the crap you see on social media is exactly that. It's crap you see on social media. It doesn't mean they're used as a blueprint. You should be your own person. Why you taking hints and tips from social media and then base your own mindset without even, you're already confused, and then you make yourself in a bigger hole. You talk about, from what I see on social media.
And even with the social media aspect, I don't know about you, but most of the stuff that you see on social media that goes viral are women twerking, women buying Birkin bags, and women in Bentley. So there's no traditional housewives. We're not being shared. We're not being shared around. That's not what it is. So I don't even know. Let's continue.
She keeps being confused.
Maybe she's
not. Nah. Maybe. Through innocent, she's still confused.
White for men, and they're just getting like, can I curse?
You're prepared to be challenged on anything you're going to say, because you tell me in the media, I'm actually what you watch. Excuse me? You talking about a woman who's, let's do it. Traditional housewife, what media are you talking about?
So let's, I don't know. Like I said, I want you to define what traditional housewife
No.
Is she crazy?
So you start digging yourself a hole, talk all this craziness, and compare for a horrible time period in our history, and further dig your hole deeper by talking about, it's from what you see on social media, and now you went further and it's confirmed that you're even more confused than we initially thought. Your exact phrase, I don't know. Then why are you speaking on it if you don't know? Hence, going back to why I said do your own research. Why are you on this kind of show and you can just shrug and then say what you want and say, I think everything's good?
Well, again, if this is what people are thinking that marriage is, this is a very scary situation, because if this is the thought process, it is nothing like this at all. And especially if, you're married to the right person, but outside of that, no. Okay, listen.
Her is probably why our percentages are so low.
That's true. Actually,
her mindset is probably why our percentage is so low.
You're right.
For black married.
You got a point there.
Let's continue with this mess.
You can't overtalk me. That's how we don't do that. Okay. I said traditional housewife. You said no, not traditional housewife. All right. So you was thinking of something, and then you talk about from what I'm saying in the media. I'm asking you what media. You haven't answered any questions. Okay. What media are you talking about?
Social media.
Where do you see traditional housewives in social media?
We're not being shared.
Everywhere.
You're not being specific, ma'am. You're not being specific.
It's women getting taken care of and not working. No.
So that's what a traditional housewife is, taken care of and not working.
To me, yes.
Oh, okay. So, and that's getting the shit end of the stick?
From what I've seen so far, yes. From what I've seen so far, yes. That's how I get your definition of it.
Well, why do you want it? Why do you want a man to take? Then why do you want a man to get out here and work and pay all the bills so you can sit at home?
I didn't necessarily phrase it as that. I said
she doesn't know what's coming out of home, then. So she doesn't even know what's coming out of home mouth?
Yes, you did phrase it that way, ma'am. Even Kevin is looking as lost for words that we are. Like, what's coming out of her mouth?
She doesn't even know what she's saying.
Oh boy,
this is scary. Listen, people, when you have when there's something that you want, you make sure that you go after it. You have the knowledge of what it is, and you have like a presentation of what it is that you want and why do you want it. Being able to say something and then 2 seconds later you have no idea what you're saying is very scary, especially as an adult.
Yeah, a grown adult, not even a person that's breaking into adulthood. A grown adult.
Maybe it's not so bad.
No, I don't think it's a wine bit. I think she's just like that. I don't think if we drink more, it's going to make any more sense.
I think if we drink more, it's going to make more sense.
I don't think so. Let's continue.
Let us know what you're drinking. Maybe does it make more sense to you? I don't know.
Now this makes sense to me.
Let's see.
Wanted a provider for the
you wanted to be able to work him. You wanted. I asked the question. So I'm very clear. I asked the question. You don't want to have to work to pay significant bills after you're pregnant. You want a man to be a traditional provider. I've said that 3 times.
Okay.
But how we get to it, you don't have to want to be the one carrying the financial family load. You want to be provided for.
Yeah.
And then what is he going to get? Because he's not going to get a traditional wife. What is he going to get?
He's going to get the love and support that I have.
You buy a goddamn dog for that.
Nobody want that.
Took the words right out of my mouth. You could get a dog for that, sis. You still think that the drink is going to help? This is just bad. Is she not embarrassed?
She should be embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed.
Oh boy.
Okay.
See, you ladies don't want a fair deal. You ladies want an unfair deal. You want a man to go out and do the things that men have always been expected to do since time immemorial. Yet you don't come to the table wanting to even come and act in good faith. You women like you, I'm gonna talk about you. You come in here talking about a traditional housewife as a slave. And I tell you what, you leave men alone, go get your girlfriend, go buy a dog and live and die by yourself. I get tired of you women talking about men as though we're something to hurt and abuse shit because
honestly, that's not funny on my take of it, because at the end of the day, being in healthcare, a large amount of time with our people, unfortunately, are the ones who their final look at, and the final people that are spending the final hour with them are the healthcare providers. It is not their loved one. It is not someone that has been with them through thick and thin. And especially when you are dealing within the healthcare settings, when unfortunately, if there's a diagnosis that's happening, there's that partner that's there that to make sure that, hey, I don't care what's going on, we're going to get through this. Let's go. We're fighting this. Let's go figure out other options. Let's go speak to other specialists. Whenever you go into the doctor's appointments, that person has all your lab works. That person knows, and even symptoms, like signs and symptoms. A large amount of time whenever you're dealing with the healthcare provider, they're like, oh, are you feeling nausea? Are you feeling lightheadedness? Are you not eating so much? Most people, they're like, yeah, no, they're not really sure. Whereas you have a partner that's there, that person has known, okay, normally you eat this much, or I've noticed that you seem a lot more like disconnected. You seem like nauseous. You seem this. So that other person is able to write down more symptoms. And then when you guys get together, that person's able to verbalize it. It's just so very, very, very sad that the last moments in life that is a staff member that does not know you. Whereas it's someone that has, like I said, been with you through thick and thins for years, that person, even at those moments of knowing these might be the last moments of life, that person reminds you that, hey, you remember when we argued over foolishness? You remember when we talked about this? It makes those moments, it seems so much more like you cherish those moments, because even though you weren't in the best moods, but that person reminded you there was life, there's being, and there's something that we have to fight for, and there's something at the end of the road. And at the end of the road, you're going to come home with me, and we're going to fight this together, not just by yourself, because especially within our community, a large amount of times, when anyone gets ill, everyone seems as if though you're supposed to be like a superhero or a superwoman or man, and you're just supposed to take on a cape and you're just going to keep going. No, depression does set in because you're dealing with this, not knowing what this battle is going to look like. So when you don't have someone's there that's supposed to remind you, hey, pick it up. Hey, let's get back into the game. Let's, even if you do have those down days, that person is there to make sure that even on those down days, we still wake up from those down days. But this is sad.
That's exactly what Dee Dee said. It is sad. But it's a harsh reality.
Yeah.
Maybe we drop them gems. Let's continue.
You watch fucked up social media stories. I'm gonna try to have you put this shit on there. If we talked about y'all like this, you call us toxic. If we said traditional housewives, some gold diggers, then there'll be all kind of problems. But that's what I mean. You guys are used to talking about men in some of the foulest ways. Then say you want them.
Okay.
So let's take it down. What are you?
That is definitely true, because we have to also remember all of this, yapping and
going on each other, insulting one another unnecessarily.
Where is it getting you? We've
Nowhere.
been arguing and talking down on each other for years. Can we at least get to the point where we have solid relationships? Not even to the marriage. Can you guys come on?
Can we stop the infighting? Is probably the best way to put it.
Can we at least get to a relationship? Once you find value within yourself, you'll find value within others. Again, all of us are not meant to be best friends. We're not all meant to be hunky-dory. But at the basic, we're all supposed to provide respect for one another. I will not allow you to down talk my husband, my brother, my father, my cousins, any of my friends. Hi, G, we appreciate you here, and everyone else. I will not allow you to down talk them, and it's the same way.
That goes both ways. Nobody's going to down talk my love of my life. Nobody's going to down talk my family. Nobody's going to down talk my friends.
Sorry.
So respect is always a big contributing factor, and one of the main things that starts positivity is giving each other respect and valuing yourself.
That's the basic. So again, everyone has a negative experience with someone, but you don't then paint the whole brush with, all black men are like this because this this one bad experience I had during dating, so I'm going to now say all of them are horrible.
We need to start the comparisons and bringing our past baggage to the future endeavors, because then it affects both you and the person and being unfair to both individuals.
And then when you are entering the dating field and you are having solid relationships, and this is the message that you're putting out, it makes the other person say, well, what's the point of me being here? You already think that I'm trash. You already think I'm misogynist. You already think I'm a narcissist. You already think all these horrible things about me, that I'm going to be infidelity, that I'm going to try, that I'm going to.
Exactly. And that leads to one of the biggest issues where we are today. Because of these situations she was just mentioning, we start doubting ourselves. not valuing ourselves enough, start thinking about what ifs. We go in situations defeated instead of actually taking a step back and analyzing everything before we dive in. We got to stop that. We can't keep going into situations, whether it's marriage or relationship, thinking bad things are going to happen because you've seen it somewhere on social media or something happened to you in the past that wasn't pleasant. You can't. We got to stop the comparisons and stop with that mindset because it's going to be the further downfall of this percentages of.
And we've continued, and we haven't gotten any better. So please, people, learn to respect each other at the bare minimum, so that we can get into some solid relationships.
Let's continue with this.
I got faith. She's gonna pounce.
This is a train wreck. No, I won't hold my breath.
No.
Do you want to stay home with your kids?
I absolutely do want to stay at home with my kids up until a certain age. Yes.
Then where are they going to go after what age?
I was thinking maybe kindergarten.
And if you have 4 children, that means you'll be out of the workforce for at least 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do for a living?
I'm currently a flight attendant.
Flight attendant.
Mm-hmm.
So, being gone out of the workforce for 10, 12 years, think you're going to be able to go back to be a flight attendant at 50?
It's possible, but ideally I would.
Right. So in other words,
even with the finances, I'm not sure if you guys believe in like Santa Claus. Are we still in this thought process where Santa Claus is real or the Tooth Fairy is real? In case you're not, on planet Earth, we do live in America. Even the housewives that you like to perceive as doing nothing, back in the days when those housewives were actually just housewives, when they did retire, they actually were able to get social security. I almost said social media. They actually were able to get social security, they got an okay amount. And with the social security, if they got married again, then they would be based off of the guy's, based off of his income. That social, you'd get that social security amount if you were a traditional housewife. That was deemed like as an actual career.
Very true, Dot. Thank you for that.
Now, yeah, exactly, Dot. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's like, well, what Tooth Fairy or Santa Claus are you going to? Because I'd like to make my list as well. Because
that's true. That's true too, G.
She believes
in with good vibes and prayers.
At this point, listen, do you want some crystals? The crystals of energy will tell me that the chakras are alignment.
Are your ancestors going to help you and tell you the right person?
Hold on. At this point, I could go shake down a money tree outside. Why can't I? But in reality, though, there are housewives that are out there, but they're not just taking care of the kids. Most people have a side job. They're either selling some kind of teas, they're selling some kind of e-commerce, they're on Etsy. They are actually providing finance within the household income itself.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what bigger hole she can dig that she already has already.
And even as a flight attendant, she could do like large trips, make her own like.
Mm-hmm. She's let's see how this goes.
Whereas your husband, if you have 4 kids, he would have to carry the load because
4 kids expensive.
The kids,
yes, they are.
Even with daycare
costs. After the youngest is in kindergarten, you just sitting at home by yourself. Ain't that something? As I said, so like I said 10 minutes ago, why does he have to go out and work and you get to sit on your butt at home?
Mm-hmm.
That don't sound like slavery to me. That sounds like luxury.
Yes, the way you put it, yes, it does.
Not the way I put it. We just talked through your example.
That's exactly how you said it, sis.
I can see from that viewpoint. But I also had a question before we go further.
I want to answer, but I didn't get to answer my questions about this scenario.
Okay.
Do you have a cookbook?
Do I have a cookbook?
Nope.
No, but
no, so you can't cook. So.
Well, first of all, as you know, I absolutely hate recipes. I cannot stand to be no.
Yeah, she really doesn't.
So for those of us who I don't remember what it. Yesterday I made some lamb, and if you guys would like to check it out, you could check out the Wife's Cookbook, where I will be sharing more recipes. And with that being said, with the lamb and sweet potatoes, and let me tell you that was
yeah, that was bomb.
That was amazing. So with that being said, making sure that you know how to cook. I understand everybody's like, oh no, that means that you're gender and this and that. Listen, I don't know about none of this foolishness people are talking about nowadays. It does not matter if you are a man or a woman. At the end of the day, the way that I was raised to, we learned how to cook when we were like 7 or 8 or something.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be able to go through life and be able to survive. With survival, I am not going to say, well, because I'm a married woman or because I'm in a relationship, I don't need to know how to cook because it's 2021. You should be doing this and third. I don't care. I'm hungry. So I need to know how to cook. I need to make sure that the home is clean because I don't like to live in filth. I don't know what you people are talking about. You're so hung up on this title and this and that and third. Are you not hungry? Cook. It's okay. Oh,
what
gosh.
you said.
That meal look. Oh, listen, G, I'm telling you.
And G said, you can't embarrass the ancestors.
You can't embarrass the ancestors like so. No. Even with food, even with that, it's not a thing where it's like, oh, well, that makes it to where the man is going to stay with you. No. I want to make sure that I make some good quality meals because even when I go over to a friend's house, I love when my friends are like, oh, can you make this? Can you bring this with you? Because it's like, yo, I know she's going to throw down on this. I'm like, yeah, throw the dust off my shoulders. Like, you know your girl can throw down. You know, that's a side point. Let's get back to the video.
Let's get back to the video.
So basically,
who said that?
I said that. You can't, a woman who can cook, I come from cooking people. Women, see, traditional housewives understand that their province is the home.
I'm about to make that barbecue ribs.
That's what I mean. So what I mean is you can follow recipes. That means somebody else has to decide what the food for your family is.
Sorry, I forgot to mention while I was over here talking about my cooking skills, we have to also be mindful. When we're talking about finances, she discussed that she wants to have 4 children, be stay at home, and then the husband is out working. Even with being a housewife, you need to be mindful of the money. So if you're not being able to cook, you're only cooking based off of whatever the ingredient says on the box. That means each ingredient that you're buying on that box is only going to be for that one meal. So say, for instance, if that box costs for whatever ingredients, that one meal probably like not 60. It probably range from like $20 to like $40 just for that one meal recipe. Now, if you turn around and you go back to another box recipe, that's a whole nother type of situation that you got to come up with. Whereas if you already know, okay, well, instead if I don't have paprika, I don't even need that. I can add in another ingredient that I already have in the show. Mm-hmm. I'm able to stretch the meat. Well, if we have this one meat, let me season it, and then let me make it 3 different type of ways to where it's 3 different type of meals, and you don't get to the point where you're like tiresome of it. And then even with that, as much as I love Trader Joe's is not where I would be buying groceries for a whole entire family, because those meals or whatever the packages are small, singular. They're really for 2 people. Whereas if you have a large family, you're either going to Costco, you're buying in bulk, you're going to Publix where you're buying one and get one for free, you're buying in bulk. And again, you're buying these main key ingredients and you're working with it. So even with this, I don't, that doesn't make no sense, but okay.
Is. Mm-hmm. The most important thing is the food for the family, and you can't even be responsible for that. Someone else has to do it. You'll follow it. So why don't your husband go get the woman who made the recipe?
Okay.
What do you bring into the table?
Valid point.
That's a valid point.
So this is what I mean.
That's a valid point.
When you ladies don't even bring,
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
When you don't even bring the basic stuff, it's like,
okay.
You're like, if you had 4 kids, you'd be the 5th one.
Oh.
So what are the basics? This is what I really want to know. What are the basics for you?
You're calling a man that you don't know, and you're asking him what the basics are?
Let me get this straight. You're 32, grown hardback woman, and you don't even know something as simple as what are the basics of a wife? Not even housewife, a wife in general.
Oh,
Who raised you, ma'am?
Or even as a husband. If you're calling a stranger that you don't know and you're asking him what his idea of a wife is, that's his idea, because that's what he wants his wife to be. Mm-hmm. Or if his wife turns around and says, that's what I want in a husband. What? Oh, this is strange. But yes, Dot Will said it exactly. Dot Will said, right, nurse, but use different herbs and all kind of... Yes, listen, the different herbs.
And to bounce off of that, Kevin was right to say, will you be the fifth kid? Because you're not giving him answers or even answering properly what a grown woman, even an inexperienced woman would have some sort of knowledge, especially if they were raised in the Caribbean. Oh, yeah. And but in the Caribbean, they usually instill, like my wife said earlier, they instill these kind of things like cooking and basics of a husband or a wife when you're a little kid. Yeah. So I want to know who raised her, because that's something basic.
The only thing I'll give her, at least she's willing to listen, even though maybe she's willing to make corrections upon herself. So at least she's willing to listen.
Correct, G. Yep, definitely start responding as a child. Give a childlike response, G.
You're laughing about a tragic situation that transpired in American history that was deplorable, and now you're calling a complete stranger and asking him what is the definition of a wife and what is the definition of the stuff that's coming out of my mouth that I should be able to explain for my own self. She got me going on a whole cooking tangent. But yeah.
Dot says she might have raised herself. I'm starting to believe that, Dot. Let's
on
continue.
Social media.
Oh, let's see what this. Well, she
Maybe
does.
She's gonna bounce back.
No, it's too far in. There's no way she's bouncing back.
First of all, good faith. Mm-hmm. Good faith. Not. First of all, I think you need to go back and understand what it means to be a woman and a wife. Because if you come in through saying slave, I really got nothing to talk about when we say shit like that.
I think you need to hear where I'm coming from, but I want you to continue before I explain that.
Go ahead.
No, I want you to continue before I explain.
Well, but coming from a place of good faith, meaning that a man is something to be valued. Mm-hmm. Meaning that the most important duty or responsibility a woman has on the planet is her children and her family. You don't want to have anybody else raising your kids, feeding your kids. You're supposed to take pride in these kind of things. Yeah. You are supposed to be proud about it. Mm. Following a recipe used to be insulting to women. They made their own recipes, but that's what women taught each other how to cook. So you're supposed to write in recipes to recipe books, not just looking on the back of a box. But you didn't. But sadly, many women today don't know how to do this stuff. You went to school, you got an education, pretty much.
This portion remind me of. Have you guys ever watched Seinfeld? And there was the cook reference. That listen, my whole life was kind of based off of Seinfeld.
That's scary.
Listen, do you guys remember that cook where he was the soup N-word? You can't say the yeah. He had his recipe of his delectable soups, and that recipe had gotten Kramer's dresser drawer or something, and they had already sold it out or something. Mm-hmm. Elaine had gotten a hold of the recipe book itself, and she had gotten so psychotic to where Elaine said, "No soup for you." So yes, the recipe book is very important, as I learned through Seinfeld. You may continue.
No comment. Talk about Seinfeld.
Listen, Seinfeld has great life lessons in there, okay?
Good point, G.
It's like a guy that was gender neutral and you're out here working, and then you want a man to come along and do what men have done for hundreds of years, but you're not even qualifying to do what the women you used to call slaves did with joy.
I'm not calling them slaves necessarily.
That's what you just said, man.
That's what you just said.
I'm just saying, depending on who they were married to.
Well, you can give me all the horror stories.
They were slaving.
Okay, who?
I can say that my mom was slaving. I can say that my mom had slaved for my dad.
Let me ask you a question.
She was working full time.
In this country, when a man and woman break up in this country, what percentage of the time do women leave financially devastated?
I don't know.
They don't. Men are the ones that leave financially devastated. 90+% of the time, custody goes to the wife. Mm-hmm. Half of the man's stuff that he had before. you need to go get familiar with them. This is why so many men are avoiding marriage, because women today are filing. We have a 50+% divorce rate, and women file divorce 8 to 9 times out of 10. It's because women have a financial incentive to file for divorce. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't look at Hollywood marriages, but you don't typically see women having to move back in with their mother because their husband got the home and the kids. This happens all the time with men. So, but your mother had the slave. Is your mother still married to your father?
She is.
Would she call herself a slave?
No sense.
I don't know.
Oh my God,
I could ask her, but
how long did they marry?
About 32 years. They got married right before they had me.
Thank you very much. See, what you said to me, what reminds me of so much of what happened.
What it sounds like to me is a bit of entitlement. So what she was beginning to say was that her mother worked full time and then came home and she came home and made sure the children were okay and cooked for. That's what I think she was about to like finish in saying. So the entitlement is, how dare I go out and work and then I have to come back home and make sure that the home is tranquil, the home is clean, and this, that, and the third. So to her, it seems as if it's a power move and not a team move. So for her, looking in at her mother, she's comparing what her mother, instead of her mother looking at as a team type of situation, she's looking at it as a power move. How dare you, my mother, go out and work and then you got to make sure we're okay. Wow.
And if your mother was so-called S-word to your father, why they been together 32 years? Unless your mother likes pain or as a masochist, something you ain't got all the puzzle pieces, sis.
But even with that, that's completely inappropriate that a daughter is, or a son, a child, to be speaking like this, unless if there's abuse in the family. But if there's no abuse, I don't understand why are you talking about your parents' relationship. Beyond me.
Yeah. Let's see what she has to say.
That's so true, G.
Silent generation of baby boomers. The baby boomer generation, my mother's generation, looked down upon their mother and their grandmother's generation because they had to slave for their husbands and do all sorts of kind of stuff. And then they realized that when they got to be later in life, that they had failed as women. They realized that every other generation of women up to them had done their jobs. They were the generation that spent all the money, sold the family houses. They're the most selfish generation that ever lived. And the ones that are still alive will tell you, we have failed as women because they're my parents. They made a generation of harder women and softer men, all because they looked upon what their mothers did as being beneath them, because they got a little funky piece of education, a little bit of government assistance, and were told that you were better than your man in the civil rights struggle. The only group of women that actually looks at the women past them as fools. But yet, now you're the most you make more money, you're more educated than the previous groups of women, you have more opportunity, you're freest than ever been, and you're the most unhappy group of black women that ever existed.
I don't feel that way because
the stats say that though. Okay. You don't feel that way. The stats say that though. 1 in 4 of you will marry in a lifetime.
That's crazy. That's truly crazy.
Okay.
You said I don't want to be a slave, and you said your mama's slave.
Yes, because I see and hear the way that my father treats my mother, and I know that she deserves better.
Oh, you need to stay in your place. You need to stay in your place.
In my place how?
As a child.
That's your mom.
Everything is funny to you.
What part of this is funny, sis?
That's one of the main problems in the black community. We got kids judging grown relationships. You don't have any children, do you?
No, I don't have any children yet.
Well, that's my point. Mm-hmm. You're judging your mother and father from a kid's standpoint. Mm-hmm. Not that they're just individuals. You don't know what your mama does behind closed doors to your daddy, but your mama knows enough to have her ass in a marriage. Mm. She got more than you do.
Who?
What's that?
A husband.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How many siblings you got?
I have 4 stepbrothers.
But even with that laugh, when Kevin said the mother has more than you do, and she said, "What's that? A husband?" She even started laughing as if though that man was so much further beneath her. Oh, well, that's just a piece of somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have value within the gentleman that raised you.
What I don't get is why she's laughing so frequently at something that's such a serious topic.
This is the same movie
And
that laughed about
notice
slavery.
you haven't seen Kevin once laugh with her.
Because this isn't funny.
Because it isn't funny, but he knows that she's not seeing it. But she still plays along. Funny. You need to, like he said, you need to go back to the basics and find out what being a grown woman is and what being a proper wife is. Because you clearly
not even a proper wife. A proper woman.
Yeah,
What's
try to
wrong?
handpick things out of the thin blue as if you know something. Boy, this is a shame.
Well, half brothers and one.
I'm only 15 minutes into this. So I'm
Other
Follow me halfway.
How many children your mother have?
All 6 of us.
How many children do your father have?
Just the 2. Well, now.
Hold on.
Yeah.
so let's start. Hold on. Pump the brakes.
Mm-hmm.
Your biological father
Yes.
went with your mother and raised kids from another man?
Yes.
No.
Later on.
I don't need your interpretation. The biology is all I'm concerned with.
Mm-hmm.
Your mother had children from another man?
Yes.
How many men?
My mother had children from another man. 2 other men.
2 other men. So your mama has 3 baby daddies.
Met my father.
So she's reproduced with 3 men.
Yes.
So your father accepted your mother, who had reproduced with 2 other men, and she hadn't been married to those men, right?
Correct.
Right. He sounds like a goddamn superhero as far as I'm concerned.
Oh Lord.
Why is everything so funny to this thing?
What part of that was like funny, girl?
Are y'all not hearing this?
This
This
don't
woman's
even make
talking like her
sense.
mother is some slave, and her father stepped in to raise. No, ma'am.
Baby.
This is why I say stay in your place as a child, because that man stepped in and did something he didn't have to do for your mama.
Mm-hmm.
That is true, but at the moment, that wasn't even a factor
How you know? You weren't even in a cheaper relationship.
until years later.
And she doesn't even feel no shame. She's like, oh, and I
She's
said,
very
The reason
nonchalant.
that I came on was honestly, I had a few questions. I wanted to know, how do women determine if our price is too high?
Girl.
How do we determine that?
This lady.
Man, the low level lack of respect and contempt that you seem to have for men, black men in particular.
I don't think I have a low.
what you just been saying.
Man, I'm telling you what I'm experiencing. I'm telling you what I'm experiencing.
Okay.
You can think what you want. I'm telling you what I'm experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a pretty accurate judge of character. Pretty accurate judge. You said slave. You judge your mother as a slave. You talked about stuff that you cannot substantiate. You have nothing to back up. Your mama is married to a man of 32 years who took her in with 3 children from 2 different men. I would almost bet that she's just thankful that she has this man, regardless as to what you think you saw. You think what you saw is what you saw.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in a kid's place and stop judging your grown parents. Because what are you doing in your life? Because you right now, just know if your price is too high. You judge your price. Let me answer the question. How's how you answer the question? That's all I need.
5'7".
Dress size.
Sorry?
Dress size.
Dress size, I would say about a 10.
How much did you weigh last time you weighed yourself?
Everything's funny to
170.
this lady.
Mm-hmm.
So you weigh more than a man at your height.
Some men. Oh, at my height?
At your height. 5'7"? Yeah, the average height of an American man is 5'10", the average weight is 168. You weigh more than a man, so that lowers your value. And where would you judge yourself on a scale from 1 to 10? Just your face. You can't use 7.
Just my face. I would definitely say I'm an 8, 9.
Okay. Beyonce is an 8. Kelly Rowland's a 9.
Okay.
Do you put yourself there?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Have you ever done any modeling?
No.
Okay.
Wait.
No?
No.
So, if you're an 8 or a 9, we should be getting 8 or 9 outcomes.
I should be getting 8 or 9 outcomes.
Yeah. You're a flight attendant, right?
Yes.
Right. So that means you interface with men nationwide.
Yeah.
If you're an 8 or a 9, someone would have taken you off a plane by now, put a ring on you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'd give you a 6.
Oh, all right.
You're cute. But you're not pretty, beautiful, or gorgeous. I give you a 6. That's not an insult.
Oh no, I don't take it as an insult.
But the fact that you put yourself as an 8 or a 9, you're overestimating yourself based upon if I just said Kelly Rowland, Beyonce, you say that you think that if I put 1,000 men, they would say all these things are similar. That's what you think.
And you're basing this just on face.
Yes.
What else?
If I put your face in a lineup with Kelly Rowland and Beyonce, and
we have to be very careful because when you are discussing, of course, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Is very, very subject. Everybody thinks somebody looks different or whatever. But when you are discussing as far as looks are concerned, your body attributes has nothing to do with whether or not you're attractive. When you're attractive is just based on your face. Your face is going to get you to wherever attractive people are at.
Very true, Dot.
What did I say?
She don't know any better. Her mentality and thought process is off.
And can you imagine
that's an understatement, Dot.
how other people may be going through life like this loss? But even with that, again, when you are discussing your looks, it is not based on your body attributes. It is just based off of your face. And then if you're now bringing in your body to be the definition of your face, that already tells you that's a sexual aspect. Sexually, your body is amazing, so I'd want to have sex with you. But as far as your face, I don't want anything to do with that. So that does not mean you're attractive if they want to have sex with you. Oh gosh, gee,
no,
that's what it sounds like. You are letting boom boom over your face.
I just put them in front of 1,000 American men. They'd say, "Yep, these women are all similar."
Yeah, I think so.
No.
I mean, I had a long day. I'm tired, so.
Wait, you had to do what?
I had a long day. I'm tired, and they wear makeup. If I had makeup on,
ma'am, now here's the thing.
Kelly and Beyonce, they always are on Instagram. They always showing photos with them with no makeup on, none, not an ounce. And those women, again, it's based off of facial features. So even with that being said, based off of your facial features, different people will find you to be attractive. And if you watch my video about how my skin complexion actually gave me an advantage during the dating process, you'll understand how facial features does play a role in it. And remember, not everyone's going to find you attractive. Be okay with that.
This is where, as a professional image consultant, I do this in real life. I look past makeup. I look past surgical enhancements. I'm looking at you, fresh face, natural hair, and that's what I judge you on.
Okay.
When I look at them, I look at them too, before and after. And no, ma'am, you're cute, but you're not on the level of Beyonce or Kelly Rowland at 8, 9, or 10. And it's fair to say you've not had those outcomes in life. You don't have men who are looking for those kind of women trying to wife you. I mean, You said ain't nobody trying to take you off an airplane. Those women get snapped up, and you're 32, 34?
I'm 32. Well, about to be 32.
So those women like that, 8, 9s, or 10s, don't tend to make it past 23 single. They typically get snatched up.
That's true.
Facts.
Someone took me off the market at 24. And honey, I'm not an 8, 9, or 10. But I'm okay with my life.
Wow.
Listen,
okay then, there's that.
There's that. Average and winning.
And this is before any kind of personality. This is just strict. So, and the reason we're here, you talk about putting your price too high. One, you have an overestimation of your actual level of your overall sexual marketplace value. At 5'7", you should be closer to about 135 pounds. That's nice. Cool.
That's right for me.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear what you think.
Now that's
I don't want to hear what you think.
low.
Okay, I don't want to hear. See, so people understand. As a professional image consultant who does this in real life, who's done it for modeling agencies and casting agencies, I'm talking to a flight attendant who's telling me what's too low.
Yeah.
You weigh more than a man. It's not too low. Go back into your family album and look at the women about 1920, 30, 40, 50. Go back onto a program called Soul Train and look at the women in the 70s who were 5'7", and you will see they were dress size 4, 6. Go look at Thelma on Good Times. She was a perfect example of a 4. You weigh more than a man at your height.
I don't want to look sick. I don't want to look sick.
And this is why so many women's price is too high. No amount of logic, reason, discernment, when you believe you're whatever, man. The average woman puts on 30 to 50 pounds in pregnancy. If you got pregnant today, you bloomed 200 pounds, maybe 220. And then after the first kid, you're not going to drop all the baby weight. If you actually have 4 kids, a guy will probably look at a woman about 220, 230 when you're all done.
You got celebrities, well, not even celebrities, people like Hazel E. Hazel E is currently coming back from Turkey, where she just had 1 child and her weight has gotten, very much out of control. And because she was just so stuck on plastic surgery, she was not able to lose the weight naturally, because naturally she never actually worked out. She always went to get something cut out, and now is having a horrible battle with body issues because at the end of the day, never actually worked on it when you actually had a free pass to work on it.
G said, I'm younger than her and have better sense at Dotville. That's why I'm saying that.
Thank God, G.
See, the average black woman today weighs more than the average black man at her height. And you can't tell you nothing about weight. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No physician, no professional can tell you a goddamn thing about it. You know better than everybody. But show me the outcomes. So we talk about weight.
Sorry.
We talk about weight. We talk about weight. That is a component. Then we talk about, your overall look, there is a subjective component to looks, but there's an objective component to looks too.
What?
You want to put some input?
No.
Oh boy, this is
tired?
This is a train wreck.
Oh. No, that's true. Again, not everyone's going to find you attractive, and you're supposed to be okay with that, because you won't be everyone's cup of tea, and everyone won't be your cup of tea.
And that's just how the world works.
That's it. You know something to say. You seem tired.
Nah, I'm good.
Oh. Okay, let's finish this, because I can't be watching
this. Let's finish this.
It's not getting any better.
And objectively,
I told you.
When I listen to a woman who would say, I know Kelly Rowland, Beyonce, they've been on the cover of People or Cosmopolitan as the most beautiful women in the world, you're putting yourself up there saying that, yes, people or Cosmo could put me up as one of the most beautiful women in the world, and that would make sense. That's what you're effectively saying over and over again. And that simply does not hold water in the world I live in. You're free to believe it. You're free to think that. But if you think that, of your estimation of your look, and if you think what you said is an estimation of your physique, then you're going to have your price way up here. Versus if you was more in line with what most people see. That's one of the main reasons price is too high. And that's before we get into anything regarding femininity, cooperation, agreeableness, actual wifely skills, anything like that. That's just straight aesthetics.
I completely understand what you're saying in regard to that. But like I said, my main question was, how do women determine if their price is too high?
Well,
He just answered that, sis.
I don't even know why we're
Right.
Well, that's normally not the, we don't suffer.
She doesn't listen.
Yeah, she doesn't, and she's laughing at everything.
We suffer from a world where we think the value's too high. How do you judge it? On the outcomes. The kind and caliber of men that you think you want or qualify for, are they trying to make you their wife?
I think God is disconnecting. I'm so happy.
The kind and caliber of men that you think you want, are they actively trying to make
she's
you their
back.
wife?
I think the disconnection makes more sense than she's actually making sense.
I think, like again, if you were selling a car, you could think your car is worth whatever. You put it out on the lot, the public gets to decide. Men decide.
Whoever's buying it.
And it's not a matter of women knowing; it's a matter of women accepting. And what this interaction has proven, is demonstrated more than anything else, is far more women, sadly today, are more like you, not willing to accept and something that doesn't line up with what they believe or want to believe. I mean, it doesn't matter what scale I gave you about the look. You still said, yeah, I put myself up there with them. I'm like, okay, well, I mean, delusion is allowed. It is. Delusion is allowed. You're allowed to say whatever. But it doesn't, but after this is all said and done, when you're out in the world responds to what it is. So when you're out on the flights and you fly from here to there, the men who are sitting in first class or whatever, the men who actually are the kind and caliber of men that can afford to live the kind of lifestyle you want to, they're not checking. They don't see you. That's just from a look standpoint. Then there's a whole thing about your energy. And that comes into your attitude, the conversations we've had. I'm quite sure a lot of people don't play this. Because the whole slavery thing, it's like, why do you even want a man? Because you haven't talked highly about any man. Like there was anything a man does outside of being a wallet.
You got that from what I said.
This is
judge based on the comments of what other people say. Don't judge me. Judge based on the
This
comments
is
of what people
honestly
say in the video.
ridiculous.
If you think if I'm misinterpreting, I challenge you when this video is posted.
Let me tell you how dangerous this lady is, just based off of this. She's so dangerous that she would, not just her, but just based off of what she's coming across, she will say the most despicable things about someone. And then when you react to that, she'd then be like, oh, how did you get that from little old me? I never said that. This is a dangerous, dangerous person because, again, when you're intentional and you know, either you're right or you're wrong, you understand what you're saying. And it's like, okay, well, either I'm going to be corrected or I'm just not going to agree with it. At least you stand behind what you say. But to have somebody to say very dangerous, problematic things like that and then turn around and like, oh, well, how did you get that from? Oh, I never said that. That's not what I meant. But that's what came out of your mouth. What do you mean that's not what you meant? You too old not to know what's coming out of your mouth.
Well said, G. I'd rather head up just to forget what I watched and heard.
But G, this is what's scary, where people are having these type of messages and they're saying this aloud to their partner and thinking that this makes sense. This is why, you know what? Let's just finish it, please. I just want to be
good luck to sis with that mindset.
We're almost done.
Go read what men are saying.
Okay.
Go read what the men are saying.
I mean,
you came on here for a reason. I'm giving you time and time, and I'm telling you what I'm getting from you. What I'm getting from you is a woman who has a low estimate of men. I said what I'm getting from you is a woman who has a low level lack of respect and contempt for men. I'm very clear on what I said. Okay, you're shaking your head.
Agree with that.
I don't care what you agree with. But I'm telling you how I see. This is when you close it down, and this is what I'm telling you how I experience.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to accept it, but I'm telling you that's how I experience you. I have no dog in this fight. I have no reason to down you or up you. I'm telling you what I've experienced and what you said, the things you said, the examples we walked through, and it's become worse as we've gone on, not better. So the more we dialogue, it hasn't improved. It's gotten worse.
Toya was in the neck. Licking your help.
So you can shake your head and dig your heels in. I'm telling you, no. And if you really want to know, go back to your exes and ask them what it was like to be with you.
No, goodness.
Okay.
God bless.
Go interview them and say, what is it like to be with me? How did you experience it?
Challenge accepted. She should do that for her sake.
Honestly, take it. Because at the end of the day,
I would actually love that.
Well, and the thing is, but at the end of the day, you got to go out into this marketplace, and the men in the marketplace will be some of the same men that see the video.
Mm-hmm.
You have to look what the market says. And if the market comes back saying, "Hey, Kevin, you're wrong, man. She's a dime piece, and I'll take her, man. I make her $5. Shoot, let her know where you flying to, sis. I'll take you." But if they're saying, "No, man, she's a little rough around the edges. I don't know. I don't like that, this or that." What are you gonna do? Write them all off as being cracks? Are they all hurt? See, because I know how that works. You don't. If you see something you don't like, you can whatever. They're all mad. Don't like whatever. At the end of the day, what we do know is the kind and caliber man you would need to facilitate the lifestyle you have or want. You don't have them actively vetting you to be a wife. That's one thing we do know.
Okay.
That is an accurate estimation of what he is right now. All right, talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.
Okay.
Have a good night.
You too.
Sorry. Yeah.
Well, as I said earlier, I knew she would keep digging a hole until she's in a whole mass gravesite.
I didn't think it was going to be this bad. But let us know down below, how much of Kevin's advice do you think she actually listened to? That she actually, even when she said she'd ask her, when he suggested to ask her exes about
what was
her.
like when she was with them.
It seemed like, oh yeah, I'm going to ask them because I know they're going to say I was nothing but wonderful and so awesome. I know they won't say anything, negative about me.
Right.
Listen, at the end of the day, these are the mixed, confusing messages that you are out there and you're saying. If you are going to compare such a horrible time in history to something that you claim that you're the one that said that you want.
And in addition, keep laughing at things that are really serious, then there's no hope.
And for those of you guys who are watching our video for the first time, normally I'm very much a jovial type of jokey type person, but this has left such a negative thought process on me today. It's not even funny.
This legit left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, this
is beyond sad. It's just no.
This is disgusting.
It's no.
Well, if you would like to continue what we will be able. Sorry, again, let me just get myself together.
Deep breath.
Yeah, this is disgusting. Well, if you would like to discuss more conversations regarding dating relationships and marriage from a married couple, we are the nurse and
the nerd.
Hopefully we will see you sometime very soon. Until next time, hopefully you get your energy back up.
Yeah, because I'm sure this whole viewing took a toll on you guys as well.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notified when we drop these good content. If you read this, a train wreck, or whether this good content.
And then even with that, make sure that you click on that subscribe button so that you can be a part of the tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are tired of the negative conversation being had. We want to be able to have solid, solidified, amazing relationships to form. And through those relationship formings, we will form into marriages and even stronger community building. Until next time, guys, good night.
See ya.